From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DVICD PrimeTime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. It is Monday, the 24th of October, 2022. So you know what it do, and what it don't. So it is what it is. Let's go ahead and jump into it early. And you know what happened yesterday? We had Week 7 in the NFL, and Tom Brady looking real old, looking 45, and lost at the Panthers 21-3. And man, I'm just, a lot of people felt that. All right, little technical difficulties down there, but Tom Brady looking real 45, and it's man, not looking great for old Tommy. So pretty much, man. All right, that kind of threw me off a little bit, but let me get back into it. But man, yesterday was not good for Tom Brady at all. All right, give me a hot second. I'll be right back. All right, so the struggles of life. So pretty much, let's get into it and talk about it. But Tom Brady was really not good yesterday. 21-3, and there were just it just wasn't good for old Tommy boy. And I just really do think that at the end of the day, this guy has to go home. He has to go home and he has to figure out his family life, because this guy he's not in it. It's rough, man. It's rough, and it's like a reality show right now. What you're looking at is like a movie where it's like, man, just go home, because seriously, you don't want to see Tom Brady go out like that. You've seen great heavyweight champions, great athletes just go out and just not look good at the end. And Tom Brady is not looking good right now. I think that pretty much what happens here is that he put the Buccaneers in a situation where they couldn't move on from him and get the exact, cut fresh from him, because he said he was going to retire, and then all of a sudden he didn't retire. So them losing yesterday, I'm not too shocked, because PJ Walker is a really good quarterback and he is very slept on. So they didn't have to do much yesterday in this situation. So I think that it's really, when you look at the stats, the Buccaneers weren't all the way that bad. They just didn't score any touchdowns yesterday. But 2 of 12 third down efficiency. They had 17 first downs to 14. So the defense wasn't necessarily the problem. The defense just didn't have, time to breathe yesterday for a bit. But they did get scorched with 2 big runs in that game. And so those things happen. And I think at the end of the day, this should be something that works out very, very, very good for the Bucs in a learning sense. They're 3-4. I know a lot of people are going to be writing them off after this, but I think that they'll recover. Tom Brady still threw for 290 yards yesterday, just didn't get any touchdowns. He didn't get any help from the run game either. And I just truly feel like, there was a little bit too much doubt going on this morning. Mike Evans still had a good game, 9 receptions, 96 yards. So they just didn't score any touchdowns yesterday. But all in all, they'll be back. They'll still probably win the NFC South, and it is what it is at the end of the day. All right, let's move on and talk about Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers yesterday wound up once again not showing up for the end point of the game, but there were a lot of things that went into losing that game yesterday as well too. The Green Bay Packers defense let them down against the offense and the Commanders. That's not really, top tier in my opinion. And then they also had their hero Heineke in there yesterday, who was absolutely brilliant when he needed to be. And I'm still don't understand why he wasn't the starting quarterback at the first of the year. I think that, a lot of these owners just want to have a name, a guy who's drafted top 5, things like that. But Carson Wentz is on his 3rd team in 3 years. I know. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Like, seriously, guys on his 3rd team in 3 years. And so you really trusted him to lead your team somewhere, but they did get a good win against the Bears, and then they come back and get a good win against the Packers. So, they're in the basement of the NFC East right now, but still, they went ahead and got themselves a good win. But Aaron Rodgers, once again, he's struggling right now. And I think Aaron Rodgers is another guy who wanted to move on down the road, but he feels like he has some unfinished business. People love the game, but people really love the attention. That's what it really is at the end of the day. They just love all that attention being on them, and they can't get enough of it. So that's why they're not going away anytime soon. And yesterday, Rodgers only threw for 194, had 2 touchdowns, though. And Aaron Jones was a big help to him yesterday, but the biggest problem with the Packers yesterday, 3rd down efficiency. They went 0 for 6. They were 0 for 1. So they couldn't get those critical they couldn't convert in critical situations yesterday. So that was a big problem. And then I'm looking at the stats now. They had 25 more plays ran yesterday as well, too. The Commanders ran 72 plays yesterday. So, yeah, any defense would have got shellacked like that late in the game with that much time on the field. But they did a good job against the rush yesterday. I can give them that. They did do a good job when it came to keeping things in front of them, but they just couldn't come up with the big plays. But out possession by 15 minutes, 37-22. So it's a lot of things that just went down to it. So the bottom line is the Commanders got a nice, hard fought win, and they went from there. And that's pretty much what that is. That's pretty much what that is. And I think that Aaron Rodgers, they'll bounce back as well, too. They're sitting in here. They've lost 3 in a row after going 3-1. People got real comfortable with what they were seeing with the Packers, but now everybody's starting to get a little panicky. So that's football for you. All right, so let's go ahead and move into our next topic in hand, and that's going to be a good one, a fun one, and that's going to be the New York Giants. The New York Giants coming in here 6-1 after yesterday's big win over the Jaguars. The Jaguars came in there. I believed in the Jaguars yesterday. The Giants were a 3-point dog yesterday as well, too. And once again, they cash out another dog bet. So they were even on the first downs, but they were 50% on the 3rd down efficiency, wound up going 6 for 12 in that category. And they also had 436 yards, but they gave up 452 yards yesterday. So you look at that stat and say they got to clean that up. They gave up 142 yards on the ground, and they gave up 310 passing. But the Giants were able to keep things right where they needed to. They had a balanced effort yesterday, 200 yards through the air, 236 yards on the ground, getting 110 yards from Saquon Barkley yesterday and getting 107 from Daniel Jones yesterday. So that was pretty big in itself as well. 2 on 35 attempts. They were able to eat up the clock a bit yesterday as well, too. They were on the field for 34 minutes compared to the 25. They were able to run 70 plays, but the Jags ran 65. So you look at this and you say to yourself, this Giants team is playing really good football. but they're a little fluky at this time as well too. They go to Seattle next week. They'll probably be the dog in that game, and then they have Houston and Detroit. Those are two games that you could easily go ahead and slip up in as well too after coming out the bye. And then they got Dallas, Washington, Philadelphia, and Washington all in a row. So that's going to show you if this team is actually going to do anything this year once you get to that meaty part of the schedule right after that Thanksgiving game against the Cowboys. They have a string of divisional games, and then they finish up with Minnesota and Indianapolis, and then they finish the season against the Eagles. So the Giants 6-1 right now, but what will they be looking like at the end of the year? That's my biggest question. But the Giants look good yesterday. They go ahead and get themselves a big win. They move to 6-1. You know that New York is going crazy. The Jets right now are 5-2. I'm not going to get into the Jets too much because the Jets once again found a team that had a quarterback issue yesterday and pretty much took advantage of that. I think that 3 of these Jets wins have been really, really on the fact that the teams that they played, it wound up being a 50-50 split in those spots. Now, the other 2 that they got, those games were some big wins for them right there. The big blowout of Miami and then the big win over the Ravens as well, too. So they have that in their guard. But I think that the Jets right now, 5-2, it's a little fluky. They just lost Breece Hall yesterday. So I think when it all comes down to it, you'll have a team in the Jets that will start showing their true colors within the next few weeks. All right, so let's move on to our next game at hand, and that's going to be the Chiefs, who went ahead and absolutely disposed of the 49ers yesterday. 49ers were feeling good, feeling great going into the game. They had just got CMC. That everything was going to work yesterday, right? Then wind up, they could barely play CMC because he just got on the team. The guy doesn't know the playbook. So Mahomes has himself a Mahomes day, and he goes ahead and throws for 423 yards. And I have some news coming in right now. Matt Ryan has been benched for the rest of the season. He's not going to be the Colts starting quarterback anymore. Sam Ehlinger is going to take over in Indy, but they said Matt Ryan has a shoulder sprain, and they said he was going to get benched anyway this year. So Matt Ryan has changed teams, and it really didn't matter. All right, so he's not going to be the Colts starting quarterback on Sunday, at least. They said for the season, but you know how it goes. The guy gets hurt, he'll be right back in there. All right, so Mecole Hardman had a good game yesterday, had 2 rushing touchdowns, and he's a wide receiver, but he had 2 really good plays that they ran and were able to run on the boys. And then Juju Smith-Schuster had himself a game yesterday as well, too. He had 124 yards on 74 on 7 receptions. And Valdez Scantling had him Randy Moss type day. He had 111 yards on 3 catches. Wow. Travis Kelce, 98 yards on 6 catches. So that was a big move for the Chiefs yesterday. They did the damn thing. And the defense was, oh my goodness. The defense wound up getting 5 sacks yesterday as well, too. So that was huge. Actually, 6. So that was this was by far a game where the 49ers definitely want to throw away. Jimmy G threw for 2 touchdowns, sacked 5. Well, I said 6. He was sacked 5. But it got so bad that they had to put their backup quarterback, Brock Purdy, in the game. So, yeah, I think that the 49ers got a big wake-up call because they're not just going to be able to go pick somebody up and throw him in there and he's going to be effective in the first game. So I think they'll get some things out of CMC next week, but this week they just were very overmatched, and you're just very surprised to see a 49er team get beat like that. They got beat 44-23 yesterday, and that's the second time this season that the Chiefs have dropped 40 this year as well, too. They're the only team, I think, other than there's only a few teams that dropped 40 points in a game this year because the NFL seems like it's going back to the old days where defense was king and offense did enough to try to get wins. But, you know, as the points come down, the games get a lot better. So 44-23, that seems like today's common NFL, but that just was a big day for a Chiefs team that wanted to send a message after a big loss last week against that Buffalo team. So, you know, it's just the way that this is set up for these teams to, you know, meet again possibly. But I think right now, I would say the Chiefs are more of a Super Bowl candidate than the 49ers. Even though the 49ers just picked up CMC, I think the NFC is still a really tough conference right now when it comes down to it, because who's going to beat the guys in the East? You got the Cowboys and the Eagles playing really good football right now, and you got Minnesota quietly playing really good football right now, and also you got to consider the Bucks are going to get their thing. They're going to get their act together as well too. So the 49ers literally had to try to win their division first before we jump to the 49ers winning a Super Bowl. But all in all, it was only the first game without with CMC, and there was some doubt going into this game, going against a very tough Chiefs offense and now a very tough Chiefs defense as well too. So with that, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our next topic in hand, and that's going to be this. This is going to be the Seahawks going on. Seahawks went off yesterday, went ahead and beat up on the Chargers, and I knew that was coming. That's why I gave my clients the plus 185 money line yesterday. The plus 5 was a very popular pick, but this wound up being I thought was the best play of the day, and the Seahawks going there and absolutely crushed the Chargers. And I think this was their first win at SoFi as well too, because they haven't beat the Rams there ever, I think. But this was their first win at SoFi, and it was absolutely incredible. It was absolutely incredible, and I think that pretty much we have a Pete Carroll-led team that is looking a lot better than people expected. People expect this team to be a top 3 picking team and all that good stuff. But you know what? I think getting Russell Wilson out of the mix has been a godsend for this team. And Geno Smith getting a second chance at actually being able to prove himself in the NFL has worked out very well for the Seahawks, and he has the confidence of his head coach. So that makes a lot of things go for this team. So at the end of the day, good win for the first place Seahawks, and pretty much 4-3 on the season for the Chargers. They're still in playoff contention and everything like that. But we know that the Chargers are a team that can probably only win 2 in a row and then lose 2 in a row. This team is very middling, okay? If you look at their all-time record, it is a even record, okay? And if you look at Justin Herbert's record, it's now 19-20. So that means that for every game he wins, there's a loss. So if he goes on a 3-game winning streak, there'll be a 3-game losing streak behind it. So the Chargers are just a very middling team, and I think that they'll be better as the season progresses, but this is the second home loss where they absolutely got crushed by a team. So it is what it is at the end of the day. The Chargers are going to have to fix these little holes. They do have a good defense, but there's just a lot of things going on with the Chargers, and I think that it's a lot of overconfidence that's going on with this team as well too. So there it is. All right. And pretty much we have Derek Carr finally get himself a good win yesterday. Derek Carr was able to get the Raiders over the finish line yesterday. The Raiders are now 2-4. The Raiders easily could be 4-2, 5-1, 6-0. The Raiders have been in every single game, but this was a cruise control game for the Raiders, and the Raiders have actually won their last 2 out of 3 as well too. And both of them were games where the Raiders got 30 points or better. So the Raiders are showing you that when they're able to get their offense moving smoothly, and that's really through Josh Jacobs' running game right now, even though Derek Carr is doing an exceptional job on his part as well too. And Devontae Adams was very good yesterday. But all in all, we do have a Raiders team that is trying to move on up, and they're going to try to keep themselves afloat. Derek Carr, 241 yesterday, 116 quarterback rate, 21 for 27 with a touchdown. So that was good. And Josh Jacobs goes ahead and gets 143 yards, adding in 3 touchdowns as well, too. So that was good for him. And then, as I said before, Devontae Adams, 95 yards on 8 catches. Renfro had 55 on 3. And then Mac Hollins got himself a touchdown yesterday. Nice touchdown as well, too. A 25-yard touchdown at that, in 26-yard, and that was the only touchdown for Derek Carr yesterday. But Mac Hollins is a very, very timely receiver, and he's wearing the lucky number 10. Everybody wears number 10 with Derek Carr, winds up doing pretty good. So The Raiders get themselves a nice win. The Texans, once again, they're a team that doesn't get a lot of points on the board, but this is probably the worst game they had all season defensively because they haven't given up 38 points. Literally, they hadn't given up like 23 in it, more than like 23 in a game. But, it is what it is at the end of the day, and they went ahead and got themselves a very, very good win yesterday, the Raiders, and the Raiders needed that win badly because if they would have lost this game, I think they would have traded the whole team, to be honest with you. So, all in all, I think that the Raiders are going to be in tip-top good shape. I'm looking at the Raiders' schedule now. They should be able to get themselves off the ground and get themselves back into the mix of things here in the AFC West, which is not going to be hard to get back into. You're not probably going to catch Kansas City. Well, I'll give them that. But they got games coming up against New Orleans and Jacksonville. Both games are on the road. Then they come back home against an Indy team, and then they have 2 more road games with Denver and Seattle. This is the Raiders' next 6 weeks, okay? So I would say this. The Raiders do need to go 4-2 in that group so then they can be even by the time they get to December. And that will be a tough month for them as well, too, because then they have 6 more games from that point on. They have the Chargers, the Rams, the Patriots, and then they have the Steelers, and then they finish up with 2 home games, one on New Year's Day against the old rival, the 49ers, and against their arch rival, the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Raiders are in a position right now where, once again, they can run the table, maybe have themselves some success and sneak through the back door for the playoffs, but they got to start winning now. So that was a good win for the Raiders yesterday, and they'll move forward from there. But I like what I see with them, and it is what it is at the end of the day. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. And when we get back, we'll go ahead and we're going to jump into some boxing, some baseball, and some basketball. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back with the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. We got this thing rolling right now. We got this thing going. So pretty much let's go ahead and jump into our next topic in hand, and that's going to be the Lakers. The Lakers right now, I think, are disappointing a lot of the Laker fans that only expect to win every single season. I expect to win every single season as a Laker fan and everything like that, but I'm realistic as well too. And even the Lakers, to me, got so bad to the point to where even my late father didn't even care to watch them, and he loves the Lakers. You know what I mean? And pretty much the Lakers are going to get it together eventually, but right now it's not happening, okay? It's just not happening, all right? But I still got hope, and if you're a real Laker fan, you still got hope. I know a lot of you Laker fans want to play GM. You think that you could do a better job than Rob Pelinka. You think you could do a better job than Jeannie Buss, or you can think, you can't do anything because you can't handle the pressure, okay? It is very tough to run a NBA franchise. And the Lakers have put themselves in a position where they spend a lot of money on top-end players that they're performing, but the players that they've put around them don't perform, okay? This is literally like giving LeBron the same roster he had when he was a rookie in the NBA. You know what I mean? You give them 2 players that can do something with them. Then the rest of them are just guys that are just glad to wear a purple and gold jersey and say, I play for the Lakers, and the Lakers are a big brand, and I'm so happy for the opportunity. Stop being so happy for the opportunity and take advantage of the situation and help them start winning basketball games. Like, I'm looking at it right now. The Lakers only lost by 2 the other night and last night, and they lost by 6 the night before that. So I think that people have to really understand it's 3 games into the season. It's 3 games into the season. Y'all calm down. The Lakers going 0-3 does not mean anything. I seen a team go 0-7 last year, wind up being the 3rd seed. I saw a team go 7-0. They still drafted in the top 5 of the NBA last year. So this first weeks of the NBA is by far just extra preseason for a lot of these teams. Even Philly got off to a slow start, but nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to talk about the Lakers, who they already knew didn't have a good team in the first place. Now, looking at last night's stats, LeBron had 31, 8, and 8. Anthony Davis, 22, 10, and 3. And then you had Westbrook with 10, 6, and 6. At least he still got 6 rebounds. He got 6 assists last night. And Westbrook he's just the one that he grinds your gears, right? But look at the Lakers lineup. They have 3 guards and 2 forwards as the starting lineup. They have pretty much said they have a whole team full of guards, literally. Guards. This is awful. They got their one big man who could probably do something. He got 6 minutes last night with 4 points and 2 rebounds. Okay. Then Austin Reeves, a guy that they were really high on, and they thought they were okay with having him there and not THT. He only got 7 points last night. And then you got Troy Brown Jr., who he was just running up and down the court. And then you got Toscano, the Warrior, the guy who still probably wants to be with the Warriors. He gets 4 points. So look at this bench. This bench did absolutely nothing last night. So they got 19 points as a group. They got to be better, man. And they got 8 rebounds as a group and 3 assists. They got to be much better than this, man. And I don't care what y'all think and what y'all want to say. They have to be much better than this. It seems like the starting 5 is playing playoff minutes right now. And I just do not understand why Pat Beverly's on the roster, man. Like, I just don't. It's just, why? Why? And he shot 3 3-pointers last night. He knows he's not a 3-point shooter. And you guys are over here trying to hold Westbrook accountable for everything. But it don't look good when you go 4 for 15. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he was still helping the effort of the team. So all in all, they just got to be better. And AD had a good shoot night. LeBron had a good shoot night. And Lonnie Walker is probably the best thing going for the Lakers. And other than AD and LeBron. So I think the Lakers, all in all, and the fans just need to breathe and understand that it's a race. It's a real marathon, not a sprint. So they got Denver, Minnesota on the back-to-backs. And then they also have Denver Sunday night. So that's going to be the Lakers week for you. Okay. And then they come back around. So that's what they have going on for the rest of the month. They got 3 games. I think the Lakers could actually go ahead and get 2 out of 3 of these as well, too, to be honest with you, because I think that they can surprise Denver, and I think that they can go in there and beat Minnesota as well, too, if they just go ahead and start just playing with the underdog mentality. I think the Lakers are a little bit too high on the horse, and that's why they're running into these issues right now. But all in all, the Lakers will be fine. They're on 3. Even if they don't make the playoffs, the Lakers will be fine because, they made their bed. They made their mess. Now they got to go ahead and try to clean it up. And they know what they did wrong. And it didn't happen this year. It happened a few years ago. So, hey, you have one plan, then you switch that plan because you want to appease fans. And what happens is this. You now have the biggest headache in the NBA. It's that simple. Sometimes you got to lead the band and not let the band lead you. It is what it is. All right. So we move forward to our next topic in hand, and that's going to be the World Series. And you got the Phillies and the Astros. Who's the winner It's easy who the winner is going to be. It's really easy who the winner is going to be. It's going to be the Phillies. And I know Dodger fans don't want to hear that. They want to root for the Phillies and all that good stuff. But I'm going to tell you like this. Nobody's beating the Astros, man. The Astros are 6-0 in the play or 7-0 in the playoffs, right? They've absolutely crushed every single team, and they've found ways to beat you. Now, the Yankees never had a chance, it seemed like, after they left Houston. Even though they fought last night, they still figured out a way to lose that game. Seattle probably had the best opportunity to stun them with those leads and then having a long game with them. But at the end of the day, the Astros are just built different. And them and the Dodgers were really on a course to play each other, to be honest with you. But the Dodgers didn't take advantage. The Dodgers didn't keep things rolling the right way after taking off that week. The Astros took off the week. They came out sluggish, but they figured out a way to stay in that game, keep fighting, and get themselves a good win. This is a very patient team that takes advantage of the best pitches that they get. And I think that Houston has figured it out when it comes to building a team the right way. They're not overpaying anybody. They're building up all their talent, and they're figuring out a way to go ahead and become, a great baseball team, a great lineage of baseball for the next decade or 2 decades or so, like a team that they admired a lot, the St. Louis Cardinals. So, all in all, I think that the Astros should win this series in no more. It probably take 6 games because I'll be honest with you. I think the Astros will probably take the first 2 in Houston. Then they'll figure out a way to get a win in Philly. And then they'll win in Houston in front of their home crowd. And that will be an amazing moment for the city of Houston, celebrating the title for the first time since the 95 Rockets in Houston. Now, it won't be the first time celebrating a title, but it would be the first time celebrating a title at home in the last 27 years. So, I think that, this is going to be a good World Series. It didn't really go the way that you wanted it to go, but, that's baseball for you. Baseball is a very tough sport, and I think that this should be something that we all have a little fun with. So there it is, Phillies Astros World Series, and who is the winner going to be? As I said before, it's going to be I have the Astros winning this one at least in 6. So there it is, and that's man, it's baseball, dude. At the end of the day, trash cans, whatever. But was he able to really see where the ball was going to be at? Let's not keep playing that cheater game because everybody in the MLB has a little way of cheating all the time. You know what I mean? From PEDs to greenies to people stealing signs. The Cardinals were like the team that literally was like showed you how to steal signs. Now, I know there was a lot of extras and a lot of things done, but there's a lot of things. There was times where they beat the drum and the dude struck out. It doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, they won the game. It's baseball because the Dodgers had plenty of opportunity. They weren't banging trash cans in game 7 at the stadium, and the Dodgers lost 2-0. You know what I mean? Like seriously, at the end of the day, the Dodgers lost that World Series, man. I'm not going to use that excuse. That's a bad excuse. And I'm not trying to diss. I'm not trying to get people riled up and trying to get people mad, but I'm going to stand on that. And I'm a Dodger fan. You know what I mean? But I'm a baseball fan first, and I know how baseball works. Yeah, but it is what it is, man. It's just baseball. And baseball is a sport where everybody wants to figure out who did something to wrong somebody. And I just don't think that, it's such a thinking man's game that you gotta be smart. You know what I mean? And if you're not playing smart, you're gonna lose. It's that simple. But there it is with that. And pretty much as I said before, let's go ahead. Astros in 6. I think that we'll go ahead and we'll get that one done. All right. We move forward to some boxing news. And in boxing, we do have a quick situation going on. We got Bud Crawford, who has went ahead and agreed to a fight with Avazian, European dude, Armenian guy. I think that Bud is gonna be I think Bud is gonna be I don't think things I don't know what you call it. If you feel, if I feel like if you think things are staged and things like that, then why watch? You know what I mean? I don't know if it's. I don't want to say it's staged. I don't want to. I don't want to assume that, because the thing is, sports is sports, and sometimes sports just it's hard to figure out where where a baseball is coming from or where a football is coming from. It's easier saying things on the outside than it is on the inside, man. And it just is what it is, man. I know we get a little frustrated when we lose our money and we lose a game and things like that. But these guys are frustrated too when they lose. But let me stick to my topic at hand, and that's boxing. And in boxing, we got Crawford set to fight in Omaha. I think that this is an actual genius move. A lot of people will probably argue and get mad because they do want him to fight Errol Spence. But at the end of the day, he became his own boss for a reason. He left Top Rank not to run over to PBC and become, a guy that fights once a year and just, whatever Al wants you to do, you're going to do. They didn't want to show him the books or whatever. I don't know what happened, but I told you guys this at the top. I told you guys this a while ago that this fight was not going to happen because the money wasn't there for it. Okay. And when I say the money isn't there, the money's there for the promoters and everything like that. But are they going to make their money back? That's the whole thing. And I'm just going to be real PC here. It's because it's two black guys. All right. And two black guys fighting each other don't sell as well as it used to. Okay, because we didn't had all these matchups over the years with when the brothers fight that's supposed to be this big fight, and then one just dominates the other. All right. And I think that you got two guys that don't have enough of a market to sell themselves. You know what I mean? I think that they're very good local. Bud is the man in Nebraska. Errol Spence is the man in Texas, and he's a man all across the globe. A lot of people show up for Errol Spence and everything like that, but they don't show up for him like they showed up for Sugar Ray Leonard. They don't show up for him like they show up for Tommy Hagler, for Hagler, or for Tommy Hearns, or for Duran. I know the heydays and all that good stuff everybody talks about. People don't show up for these for these guys. They don't have the same legacies as the ones that everybody cherishes so much. You know what I mean? I think that it just comes down to a very, very it's a very niche sport now. It's that simple. Boxing is not on people's forefront or on the top of their head. Nobody's worried about the big fight on Saturday night, even when you get the big fights. Everybody's always worried about the college football game, the basketball game, or the baseball game. Nobody's worried about a boxing match because they feel like it's going to be a one-sided situation that's going to favor the favorite. You know what I mean? They feel like they're not going to get the fight that they want to see. And I think that if we have more competitive fights, more competitive cards, there'd be more people watching. But you have to put more fights on local television. That's not cable. That's like where you got to try to get fights on NBC, CBS, ABC like you used to. The reason why I was a big boxing fan was because of Worldwide Sports. And they don't have that anymore. So I think that's exactly what fans are missing out on. And guys like Crawford and Spence, their fights back in the day wouldn't go to pay-per-view. It's just that simple. It would be a classic HBO championship night because it's welterweights. And y'all got to understand, the only thing that sells in America when it comes to boxing for real, when you had to sell a U.S. boxer who's a heavyweight. It's that simple, okay? When you sell these little guys, you're not going to get the same effect. You're just not. Because you'll get a 12-round fight, and you're not going to get satisfied. In a heavyweight fight, they end the fight. And that's why Deontay Wilder, like him or not, is box office because he finishes fights. It don't matter who he fought. If he knocks their ass out, he knocks their ass out. And that's what you came there for. You didn't come there to watch him show his skills off. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Boxing is in a place right now where these guys have to make their money. You know what I mean? Promoters have been eating long enough, making a big killing off of them. And I just think that in the business that Terrence Crawford is a guy that's not going to get played. He's already been played for a long time by just taking fights and just showing that he's worth something. And I think that a lot of people have it wrong about Bud. I think he's very marketable. He's very sellable. But the thing is, though, you have to have the right people behind you. And I think he's now getting to that point. And I think that we do have to respect the situation that they letting this thing sizzle some more, simmer some more, so then they can get a guaranteed $2 million views on it on the pay-per-view, which will probably never happen. But the way that people talk about it, you should be able to get 1 million buys, right? But probably not. It is what it is at the end of the day. But, we could go about this all day, but I'll have some more boxing news tomorrow to talk about as well, too. So you guys just, hold your horses, hold your britches, and stop crying on Twitter about things that you ain't in control of and you not understanding how this business really works. Y'all think you know everything about boxing, but you really don't, okay? Even the boxers don't know what the hell they be really making. All right. And I'm not going to get too far into it, but I know because I really, really, really know. Okay. So there it is. It is what it is at the end of the day. Let's go ahead and get into talking tickets, man. I did go a little bit further than I wanted to, but let's go ahead and get into talking tickets. And up first, we have ourselves the NBA Super High Five. NBA Super High Five, we got a plus 8.5 on the Spurs tonight. And then we're going to take the under 232.5 with the Grizzlies and the Nets. And then we got the Celtics -6 and the over 232 with the Jazz and the Rockets. And then we have the Blazers money line as the dog of the day, the 3-0 Blazers dog of the day with the plus 170. So I do like the 34-1 ticket, and it is what it is. I'm not talking about you cash action. I'm not talking about you crying about it. I'm talking about the boxing Twitter world crying about these fights that they can't make. You know what I mean? Why don't you just worry about the fights that are made, and then when these big fights get made, then you can get to talking about it and getting mad about it and acting like you know how the dollars work about it. All right, so you got the Bears at the Pats. You got the Pats. This is an easy call. You got a Bears team that can't score, and they're probably going to score a little bit tonight because nobody's going to expect them to score. But the Patriots have been absolutely awesome their last two games. 29-0 over the Lions, 38-15 over the Browns. So they're looking real Bill Belichickian right now. So they're too hot going into this game, and I just think that that's who is that's who it is. No, brother, I'm not. It's brother. I love the fact that you're here with me. I'm not talking about you at all. So pretty much, we got the bets. We got Bears at Pats -8, the under 20 with the first half, and the 2.5 Pats first quarter. Single what you like, talking tickets, and there it is. There it is. But yeah, I didn't mean to make nobody mad or anything like that. So sorry about that. So pretty much that's what we're going to do here, and we're going to go ahead and we're at the end of the show. So pretty much it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. I know it was a little off today, but we'll be back tomorrow. It's Monday. Mondays get a little hectic. So as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. This is the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And I'll be back at you tomorrow, same time at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So you guys make sure to tune in, and we will go from there. So you guys are the absolute best. And man, there is no me without you. So man, as I always say, man, you guys just keep winning, keep betting. And I have these plays out for you guys in a bit. So you guys enjoy your day, enjoy your Monday, and stay positive. Love you, Pops. We gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.